Hi, everyone. I'm really excited today to have fantasy author Rachel Kaufman with us today. I have been excited to hear more about your work. Um, what can you tell us? We'd all love to know more about what you write and the world you created, and tell us more about yourself.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you, Ms. Park. I created a world called Pileria, and it's the pronunciation of the world is actually on my website because nobody ever knows how to actually
Right.
pronounce
Say that one more time slower.
Pileria.
Okay, so was that something you just made up out of the blue, or is there a hidden meaning in it?
No, that's actually one that I made up in college. I sat down and I thought I need some names of towns and cities and things for my world. And I started just putting letters together, really. And then I ended up with that one and I really liked it. And I ended up turning it into the name for the whole world.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so how many books do you have out right now?
Right now, we only have one book out.
Uh-huh.
And it's newly released. I spent many years working on it, and it's the foundation for the other 8 or the other 7, 8
That's
total.
awesome. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a big series when you get it all done.
Yes, and I plan on having each new book come out spring of each year.
Okay, so you've got your plans mapped out for the next decade. No
Yeah,
vacations. All you're going to do is just change your keyboard, right?
basically.
Basically. Well, I know that feeling. Like that's something we do as writers. We just get excited. And so, do you have outlines for all of the books, or do you have one done and kind of an idea? Or tell us a little bit more about your process.
I actually have I have the whole story in my head. I know all of the big points that are going to happen, or most of the big points that are going to happen. More will come as I get into each book, but I know all of the really heavy hitters and the character developments and the big things that are going to happen. And I have a playlist of about 45 songs that I listen to that I kind of mentally store those big moments into those songs. So whenever I hear the song, it reminds me of that big moment. And I have the whole scene of what the powerful moment's going to be played out in that song. And each song only gets one big moment. So that's how I have it all. That way I can remember it without writing it down.
Wow, that's awesome. I have to confess, I don't try to remember things because I mean, I'm kind of famous in my family for having a bad memory, and so I do not try to remember like even the whole book. And I mean, it's pretty sad if you pick up a notebook of something you've written and go through and you're like, "Wow, I wonder how it ends." So, I'm glad you can remember, but the using the music to do that is really interesting. I haven't heard of somebody doing that before. So,
Yeah, I've
that's
always
really
loved
cool.
music. I've always loved music, and music has always really spoken to me. And I've always just, it's like the soundtrack to my story.
I love.
And yeah.
That's awesome. So, do you have any particular main characters you want to talk about? Um,
Well, my main character is Adelie. She's a 15-year-old redhead with amber eyes.
uh-huh.
And she is, the whole story is about her, and it takes place over the course of 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And
So all
she's,
eight books.
yeah. And
Okay.
she's fiery, and she's got quite the personality, and she also has a little kitten that goes around with her, a little orange kitten named Yuri.
Uh-huh.
And then there is her love interest Darcy. And it's not like a love book at all. It's an adventure series. It's battles and escaping, narrow escapes, and getting away from the bad guys and defeating the bad guys and finding yourself and all that kind of stuff. And but I
Love
mean,
it.
I'm not dead inside, so there is love.
Well, that's good. Okay. And if she's 15 at the beginning, she'd be what, like 18, 19 at the end. So
Around
that's
there,
good.
yeah. I'm really gonna have to wait and see, because there's some books that I'm like, I'm not sure how long they're gonna be here, so I'm gonna have to wait until I get there. But I think it's gonna be about 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So it's like a giant thing it's still brewing.
Yeah.
So why tell me a little bit more. Do you have dragons in the book? Because it is called Dragonborn. So tell
Yes,
us about
there
that a little bit.
there are dragons in the book. The premise of the book is that eons and eons ago in Pileria, dragons were the ones that created the world. And then they had power over all the elements. And as this guy appeared. They taught humans, they created humans, and they taught humans how to, you know, use the elements to their, you know, like basically how to create fire, how to, and not like magically, just in the basic way that humans live in the world, the way that we use
Sticks
our
together.
world. Yeah, the way that we use our world in Pileria, the dragons are the ones that taught the people how to do that. But
Okay.
then the story goes that this guy showed up, and he's known as the Great Deceiver because he deceived the dragons into not only learning the elements but gaining the power behind the elements. And then he was able to convince so much of Pileria that he was the one that actually created everything, not the dragons. And with all the power that he absorbed, he was able to trap them all in stone casings around the world. And except for the last dragon, the eighth dragon lord, took
You and learn more about what you do and more about your work.
my website, dragonbornseries.com, has, you know, is a bio about me and a place that you can contact and a place that you can purchase the book if you want, or on Facebook, if Rachel Kaufman fantasy writer is it's my Facebook page, and we do updates there and stuff, and we have links and things like that there too.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we include some links with this interview so everybody can get in touch with you.
Mhm.
So is there any cool personal details, or, you know, what do you want to tell us more about why you love to write so much?
Well, whenever I was 5, I wrote my first story, and and I mean it was.
I'm older people, you know, I definitely started writing as a little kid too. So I think I was
I
on
don't
the
know.
stage once or twice.
I may want to get a really strong magnet, and just one day when my husband's at work, I'm going to put it on the back of one of my books and stick it on the fridge. I think now.
That's
I
a
think that
great idea. We'll have to put I've got a book cover poster. I'll just put that on the fridge. That'll be
there
good.
you go.
Yes. Well, it's been so awesome hearing more about your work, and we are definitely going to be looking for all of these books as they come out, and we're excited to read the first one and see more about her adventures tracking down the dragon.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to tell everyone before we wrap up? Anything come to mind?
Um.
That's a terrible question to ask.
Well, actually, I this if people are wondering if it's something that would be in their age range, one question I get a
Oh,
lot
that's a great one.
is, you know, my child is young, you know, is it appropriate?
Oh,
And I
great.
had as young as a third grader read it, and she read it in 2 days and she loved it and wants the second one out. But I've also had a lady in her upper 60s read it, and she's in love with it and can't wait for the next one to come out.
Okay.
So
So it
I think
covers a lot of ground as far as appeal, but are you
yeah,
writing mainly towards a young adult audience, just
it
generally?
is. It is mainly, my main character is a 15-year-old girl, and I tried to be really true to that type of maturity level, and, you know, of the position, the way that she would view the world,
Mhm.
and leeway in who.
I think my internet froze for a minute. That's the hazard of doing a Zoom meeting. So maybe we'll go back and trim that just a little. But
Okay,
anyway, did we miss anything important? Sorry.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And we will be watching to see more cool book releases from Rachel. And we're so excited to read this one and learn more about it. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.